You know, peeing blood might not be the best thing for my body. Huh? Oh, you're right. I should probably get back on that. Alright, come here, T. Ah! About 4 months ago, I decided that I was going to design a whole entire Pokemon region based off, well, Latino culture. You know, Argentina, Guatemala, Mexico, Brazil, places in Central America with their beautiful scenery and animals. The only problem was that I kinda, well, forgot about the entire project and went off to do different videos. In my last installment, I only designed the fire starter. So for this video, I decided that I was going to design the water starter. So, let's get to it. To planning. What makes a good design? A good Pokemon starter, let's say. For me at least, a Pokemon has to have, well, a friendliness aspect to it. You know, the first evolution can look like it can be anybody's friend. But then when it comes to the second evolution, they always look awkward. Like the middle stage, a little bit weird. The awkward stage that everybody has eventually to go through. But for the final evolution, they always look more refined, better, you know, detailed. What makes that actually, well, cohesive? Why does that work? For more Pokemon, well, I guess lines, they have a whole storyline, a whole reason why the Pokemon, well, is that, you know, what their theme is, why do they do that? So, I wanted to encapsulate my theme into my water starter. And the theme that I decided to go for, well, at least for now, is sports for each one of my starters. The fire starter is a luchador. So, what would be the water starter? What is a big sport significant, or at least significant to Latino culture? Soccer, or football for the Europeans. There's many routes that I can go through, but this is the one that I decided to go for. So, let me introduce you to Quackle. Finally, my favorite time of any video, the drawing part. That's like the best thing for me. But you know what I don't like? This old design. The old design, in my opinion, sucks so much. The pose, it feels so stiff, doesn't feel like as dynamic or as a like silhouette that's unique to Pokemon, because every single Pokemon always has a unique silhouette. The silhouette is one of the most important things when it comes to making a Fakeamon. You know, every silhouette, or at least in Pokemon, is unique to the Pokemon. You can recognize any Pokemon just based off the silhouette. So, for my design, I wanted for it to be more recognizable. And I tried that with just the posing. And the posing is one of my favorite things I did in this drawing. But another thing that I don't really like is the fur around his neck that I had in the first sketch. The first sketch was only a first pass, and then I redesigned it over and over again till I liked it. And finally, I got something that I do like. Referencing a soccer player for this entire, well, design was a big help for me. I personally designed this, well, Fakeamon to be more like Neymar back at Santos when he was more on the early side of his career, where he was more cocky and had this entire, I guess, aura around him. So I wanted to encapsulate that into this design. Make the whole evolution line feel like it evolves and changes through the entire line. Not in just appearances, but in personality. So for the second, or the first and second stage, they both are somewhat cocky. Specifically, the first stage, that's when they're mostly at their peak cockiness, and then once it hits the second stage, they get a more cocky, and then around the third, it starts mellowing out. That's what my whole thought process was. An athlete that slowly becomes more and more, well, I guess, calm, more refined in their technique and in their play. I wanted the storyline to be just like that. So, for the first stage, this is Quackle, the, well, bubble Pokemon.
Quackle, the bubble duck Pokemon. It is said that when Quackles become bored, they will purposely pick a fight with any Pokemon near them, making most trainers strict with their Quackles. It is said that some Quackles love to play soccer and test out their skills against groups of score bunnies.
Okay, hear me out on this third one, alright? The initial design was okay. It had a lot of problems, especially with the feet. It looked more like it was on the air instead of standing on two legs. So I wanted to fix that off the bat. Second of all, I felt like it was too different from the initial design. Like in terms of body language, the shape of him is somewhat the same, but at the same time not. He looks a little too, I guess, stocky compared to the redesign where he's more tall. He feels much stronger. One, his feet are actually on the ground, so he feels like he's standing, and the silhouette's overall just much stronger. In my initial design, the whole main aspect on his neck, I didn't vibe with it as much as I initially did. So when I redesigned him, I instead decided to incorporate more of the bubbles instead of just having the soccer ball be a bubble. I decided to make it more of a necklace, kind of like a medal of sorts. Considering that his name is a play on, dribbling and dribbling a ball, I felt that was just necessary to have him, holding up the ball in his head. It shows his skill has evolved past the first evolution, so he still will show off his skills in just a silhouette, but not full on be dribbling the ball or in motion, I guess. I really like this design. Considering that the old design is outdated now, the rendering style is completely different, I felt like this was much stronger. This design feels like an actual Pokemon instead of the initial design where it just feels a little bit weird. I think that's mostly because of the art style itself, but that's just me. Before I forget, I actually added a nose tape, kind of like how Neymar used to have, just to show a little bit more connection to him, I guess, as a player, which I really do like, just having little subtle details like that nobody else would notice. But yeah, for now, I really do like this design. So meet Dribballoon.
Dribballoon, the dribble Pokemon. Since evolving from Quackles, Dribballoons have become more cocky and will pick fights with most Pokemon, including their teammates. It is fair to say that most trainers find it difficult to train a Dribballoon.
The final design. What I struggled the most with in the original. The old design, I don't know what I was cooking. Trust, the pose was straight ripped out of Google. It just looked really bad. To be honest, I didn't really like it. This feels much more refined. I personally went with more of a jersey look to him, so he has a actual soccer jersey on. He looks more actually soccer player and not just kind of bird that kicks a ball, or at least a bubble. In terms of silhouette, the original had a really unique silhouette. I did like the silhouette a lot. The only problem was that it felt too generic as a Fakemon. So, in this new rendition, I went for more of a stronger less stronger silhouette, I should say. More of a stronger structure. It looks like his personality shines more on this, where he's more stoic and, calm and collected compared to the first one. So, I, off the bat, already like this a lot. After getting the silhouette down, I really liked just the idea of a soccer jersey. So, I try incorporating that as much as possible. You see, he kind of just stands there looking stoic. So, a good way to make it unique or interesting is just patterns. So I went with a lot of different patterns, which comes to play the ice type. He's actually water ice. So, he has two different typings, and giving him a different pattern just works a lot. And having the shin guards, I guess you can call them shin guards, on his feet and on the wings, just being all icy, just gives so much of a better pattern than just having plain old duck wings, let's say, or just plain old duck feet. This just works so much more because it actually breaks apart each little color and actually cohesively works. To keep up more of the jersey motifs on him was to give him a crest on the chest, that kind of rhymed, so it would actually look like a soccer jersey. And plus, you can't really just slap a bunch of sponsors on him, kind of like soccer jerseys do have a bunch of sponsors. You can't really just do that on Pokemon. But what do you guys think?
Quackscorer, the striker Pokemon. Once Dribloons evolve to a Quackscorer, they become less cocky and more polite, and will actually become much more positive. They will actually prefer to work as a team instead of just doing everything themselves.
Finally, I finished designing the water starter. I can now rest. That's a joke. I still have to do the grass starter. So, tell me, what do you guys think? What can I do to perfect this design? But other than that, that'll be it for today. Hope you liked the video, like and subscribe, and you can go watch the old one if you want. Okay, bye now.